Welcome back.
Welcome back. This is horrifying.
This is agonizing.
Did I mention that Ryukishi writes a lot of horror?
You did.
Because he does.
In fact, I think the last person to mention it was in fact me.
Oh. Well, he does.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure everyone's on board with this.
Uh-huh.
But apparently there's some kind of test.
So this is where that comes from in episode 4?
I guess so.
Which then also supports the claim that, like, this was written by someone who was there.
Yeah.
Like, if this is the true sequence of events, which would make sense in its position in the story, but not with what we've seen so far. But it would make sense that whoever was on the island that survived and then wrote about the test actually wrote about something that happened.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Either that, or like, one of the culprit's many plans was written down and they like found it in the VIP room and they're like, this one will work.
Maybe.
A test? What's this supposed to be? This time of the night? Starting now?
Oh boy. Battler yelled wildly into the receiver. When he said, at this time of night, George and Jessica turned to look. According to the clock, it was past midnight. It might be a normal time to be told to brush their teeth and go to bed, but who gets told to brush their teeth at midnight? But he couldn't understand what this testing was all about. Sorry, I just had to mention that. Even that's ridiculous.
Okay, I'll hand it over. You're George and Nikki. It's my dad.
Hello, this is George speaking. Hey, George-kun.
Why is there a big blue line at the bottom of the screen?
I don't fucking know, it's probably an error. Hey, George-kun. Sorry to call so late. You weren't sleeping already, were you? You all still up chatting away? Pretty much. Maria-chan is sleeping. Oh, wait. Looks like she just woke up. So, what did you want to talk about? Battler-kun said something about a test. Yeah. Dad can be such a pain sometimes. He suddenly came down from his room. A bunch of stuff happened, and by the end, he was talking about which grandchild would make the best successor. But isn't Uncle Krause's successor? He says the 4 of us aren't up to the job, so he's gonna skip us adults and choose one of you grandkids instead. It's all so sudden we're really freaking out here, and Nick and the others are all arguing about it across the room. I'll bet you can hear Nick shrieking in the background, huh? Is that so? If that's what Grandfather says, then there's no way around it, I guess.
Thank goodness George is just so gullible.
In that case, what should we do? He says he wants you to call you out one by one. Starting with Jessica-chan. Oh, wait a sec. Okay, you still there? It looks like you and Jessica-chan will be the first up to bat. He wants Jessica-chan to go to the parlor in the mansion. You're supposed to go out in front of the chapel. It's so sudden, I hardly feel ready. What sort of test is it? It looks like Dad made some kind of crazy quiz. Some weird questions about what it means to be the head.
Thank goodness Rudolph was the one conveying this over the phone, George, you thick shit.
Rude. Of course, a few things about this seemed off to George. However, Kinzo was famous for doing radical things on a whim. Even this strange test seems plausible once he heard that it was a sudden idea of Kinzo's. But even so, if he wanted to test someone by one, why wouldn't he call them out one by one? He could have just had everyone wait in some reception room to be called in one at a time. Why would 2 people be called to different places at the same time? The plan didn't seem to make much sense, and George felt like he was missing something.
A bullet to his body.
Maybe. Still, I wonder why I want to meet you in front of the chapel of all places. He expects a lot from you. I think he wants to talk to you alone, not sure what about. Grandfather wants to talk with me. I wonder what he's gonna say. I mean, you're the most talented of all his grandkids. He's probably got something to tell you in a particular right.
This is like such a villain model.
It's so villain. He's like, let me tell you how great you are. Oh, sure. Let me tell you how great you are. You're the best son of a gun I've ever met in my entire life. My goodness, I would never kill you in 1,000 years, my friend.
Why don't you just come meet me out alone?
Anyway, that's what it says. Get over there right away. I'm supposed to go to the chapel too, so let's get this over with, or we're both gonna catch colds. Ah-ha-ha! I think you can see why I picked this voice. I see. Okay, then I'll head towards the front of the chapel, and Jessica-chan will go to the parlor. Sure. I'll see you in a bit then. What sort of test or private conversation could Kinzo possibly want to have at this time of night?
I also really want to know how many of the servants are dead at this point.
It's a great question. I don't think any, right?
Who knows?
Then again, it's a well-known fact that Kinzo doesn't have long to live. It wouldn't be too strange if he wanted to give some sort of will to each of his descendants individually. Inside George's mind, the faint feeling that something was wrong was replaced by a desire to meet Kinzo directly and hear about this in more detail. George set down the receiver and quickly explained to the others.
I feel like George is the kind of person to embellish on the good reasoning as to why they should go.
Probably.
Like, he's not going to sit there and
Yeah,
be
he'll be like, oh yes, Kinzo is a reasonable man, surely.
Yeah, like, you know, the obvious thing to do would be like, yeah, you know, it seems a little sketchy, I'm a little concerned, but this is what the instructions were. But I feel like George is like, yes, Kinzo told me to go to this place, and it's about picking a successor, and I all expect you to go and do your best.
Yeah, he's trying to be the leader.
Because this is a genuine challenge.
He's trying to be the leader and be like, yes, let me get some favor with
like,
you all, because I want to be the leader.
I feel like that's why Rudolph probably called George to the phone.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Battler would see through this shit.
Yeah.
He's an idiot, but he ain't no George. It's as you heard. Grandfather says he wants to give us all some kind of test. Ooh? A test?
After hiding in his study all these years, he suddenly decides to give us a test this late at night. Damn old geezer. What's he thinking?
It seems our parents feel the same way. It sounds as though they're very worked up about it.
Our parents.
Yeah, all of our parents that I could definitely hear over the phone.
Well, I doubt getting worked up about it will change Grandfather's mind.
Exactly. We might as well accept it. It's Grandfather's order after all. Let's obey it. To start, Jessica Chan and I are being called out. I'm going to the chapel. Jessica Chan is supposed to go to the parlor in the mansion.
I also love it's like Kinzo wants to speak to you all individually, in 2 places at once.
Oh yes, definitely. Kinzo can be in 2 places at once, 100%.
What about Maria and me?
I think they'll contact you later. Wait here. Ooh! A midnight test! What could it be? What kind of test is it? A quiz? A puzzle? I'm really good at wolves and sheep puzzles. Ooh!
How fitting, Maria.
I know. Don't ever be in a situation where there's a wolf and a sheep, and no more sheep! Ah! Maria, who was now fully awake, seemed to be very excited about this unexpected midnight test.
We'll just hang out here.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going. It sounds like they're already waiting for us. Sounds like it's gonna be fun.
So he's making one of his grandkids the successor. Sounds great to me. Now I can let one of you guys deal with it.
I'm gonna become the successor. I wanna do it. Ooh, ooh!
Having Maria as the successor wouldn't be so bad.
It would. Bye. See you later.
Oh.
And those were the last words they ever spoke together, right?
Pretty much.
No! No! Rudolph put down the receiver and stood up. Okay. Guess I'm going to the spot in front of the chapel.
They're in the fucking servant room that Genji's normally in.
Yeah, they are.
They fucking killed him.
It's damn cold out there. Go to San. Have some coffee waiting for me when I get back, will you? Next to Rudolph.
Yeah, they are.
Best character Goda, objectively, was lying face up. He didn't even get a parting line. His face was covered by a crossword puzzle book. However, its pages were stained with blood, and you didn't need to move the book to imagine how he had met his pitiful end. How was it? A nice script, don't you think? Yep. We should be thanking Dad. If we just say it was him being fickle, no one's gonna doubt us. Then let's split up. I'll take care of Jessica-chan. You take care of George-kun. I love that they're, like, still using the honorifics, like...
I know.
Like, what adorable kids they are that we're about to murder.
Such great kids.
Got it. Let's get this over with quickly so we can relax and have some coffee. There won't be any problems, yes? No sudden pangs of conscience. Kyrie smiled coldly.
Kyrie totally killed Asumu.
It probably would have been safe to call them out one by one and finish them off together. However, Kyrie had chosen to have her husband work separately. She wanted to measure Rudolph's resolve. If she was the only one who got her hands dirty, and Rudolph just watched, his heart wouldn't be as dedicated to this venture. By having him dirty his own hands, she could make him truly determined to see this thing through. Kyrie understood this sort of mind game better than anyone else. Rudolph reflexively averted his gaze from the cold glint in her eyes, but then he just shrugged and answered her question. Of course, we have $1 billion yen riding on this, and I'm a man. I'm not going to miss a chance that will never come again in my lifetime. I expected no less of you, Rudolph-san. I love people who seize chances when they come. That's why I fell in love with you. Thanks. I'm glad. Rudolph-san. What? Stay like that. Always. Okay? Huh? What did you say? Always remember the same Rudolph-san I love. Okay? Of course. Whenever I ever let you down. You should be worrying more about what kind of champagne we use to toast our victory. I'll do that. Take care now. If you really treasure Battler-kun, don't kill George-kun in front of the chapel, okay? It'll be a pain if he finds the body. Yeah, I know. I'll lure him away somehow. We'll be outside and it's raining. Should be some way to do it. And you aren't a villain in some old western, got it? Don't grant any last requests or take down any final messages, okay?
He's totally gonna fucking... He's dying.
Kirei lifted up her gun again and ran the lever to eject the casing from the round she had killed Goto with. Well, that's 9 down. Jesus.
Probably Genji as well.
Probably. And then there were 9 or 8. Well, less, actually. 8 or 7. Although, without sharing cannon, that number decreases again.
It's a bother.
It's not many of them.
Oh, she's still alive!
She lives!
Oh, God!
However!
Oh, I guess we're back on the...
We're back on track, boys!
We're back on track.
Oh my god, the timelines are converging!
I can't...
How are you feeling about
This is too much for me. Add that to the supercut.
Yeah, it was I don't know how, but some kind of miracle maybe. Ava was holding Hideyoshi's body and crying. She hadn't been shot at all. The bullet had grazed her head and missed. She hadn't been playing dead. She really thought that she'd been shot. When Kira's gun spat fire, Ava felt something fierce skim past her head, before feeling lightheaded and fainting. Then, she had awoken in the now silent room of the gold. The remains of her beloved husband lay beside her, as well as Kraus, Natsu, and Rose's corpses. It was a room of death and piled up bodies. When she had cried all she could over Hideyoshi's body, she realized that she still had something she needed to do.
George is in danger! George!
They're trying to use the... It's probably you, right?
Yeah, they're trying to use the bomb to blow up everything, bury this whole island with an explosion accident. Of course.
As Ava had expected, the switch on the clock had set to the right, which meant that it was active. Ava moved to flip it to the left and stopped. That's right.
As long as this switch points to the right, everything that happens will disappear in this night of illusions. Yes, this is an illusion. No matter what happens tonight, everything will become muddled and hidden away. They're probably going to kill everyone else. That has to be it, I'm sure of it.
When she looked at the table with the box of bullets, she saw signs that they had roughly grabbed a bunch of bullets before leaving. It clearly showed that they planned to use that many bullets.
I have to fight, if only just to protect the life of my precious son. The gun that I dropped when I was shot is stuck with the lever open. No matter how hard I pull, it won't open any further and it won't close again. Apparently a bullet has gotten jammed, breaking it. Yes, it's just as Kyrie said. Loading a bullet is tough if you aren't used to it. Please, dear. Lend me your strength. Lend me your strength so I can protect George.
In Hideyoshi's hand was Kraus's gun, which he had been trying to pick up. Ava took it, prayed to her husband one more time, and tugged on the lever handle. With a light, metallic sound, the golden casing, the golden casing spun through the air and bounced off the ground.
I'm fairly certain they're, brass, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Which is, like, so fitting.
When she timidly tried to push the lever back, this time it returned to its original place without any resistance. There was another metallic clang. It was the sound of a new bullet being loaded. Oh boy, hello, we're back in the theater space.
Indeed we are.
This is just great. Hey Angie, how you doing? I'm out of
Ooh,
water.
boy.
I'm out of water.
Oh god. I figured it'd be something like this. Someone scheming to show me the game that had disgusted me the most just to mock me.
In the game so far, various people have been suspected of being the culprit or an accomplice. The only difference now was that Rudolph and Kyrie were those suspects. However, to Angie, that was the most infuriating plot twist possible.
You remember that time where...
Yeah, I know. EP3.
I could show you the one where your family comes back. But I can't...
You wouldn't like it much. Yeah. Even Leon was full of painful thoughts. Solving the epitaph was supposed to be the only miracle that could lead to a game without a single victim, but ironically the tragedy hadn't been averted even so. Does this mean we aren't allowed to have a future where we all happily return from this island alive, even if the epitaph is miraculously solved before the crime occurs? A miracle certainly will not occur. Those words, which I had heard in one of the fragments Bencastle had shown me, raced through my mind. Bencastle-san, you showed me how wonderful my world was. I don't want to believe that you created this tale just to hurt Angie. By now, even I realize that you're the game master here. Please, tell me, why are you showing us this game? Of course, no one answered Leon's muttered question. The game created to mock Angie continued emotionlessly, with more terrible twists that didn't betray anyone's expectations anymore.
Huh? Show whatever terrible game you like. You're trying to say that this is one of the endless possibilities inside the cat box, right?
That's a track.
Just do whatever you want. I won't let something like this get to me. Someday I'll find out the truth of what happened on October 5th, 1986. Oh geez.
Here we go. I hope you're ready. After meeting Curie in the parlor, Jessica was told that the test would be held in the dining hall, and she followed Curie there.
Aunt Curie, there's no one here.
I don't want to do this scene. He'll be here soon. Sit over there. Jessica sat in the chair she had been offered, looking nervous and agitated. Curie was by far the calmer of the two. Curie closed the door behind her, revealing the gun that rested behind it. Jessica was facing the other way, so she saw nothing.
Did you hear anything about this, Aunt Curie? Like what kind of test this is?
Yeah, it'll be over soon.
I sure hope so.
As she complained, Jessica turned her head around, and the tip of her nose bumped into cold metal.
Huh?
Oh my god, what is cutting around? Uncle Rudolph? What are you doing? Yeah, I guess shooting people in the back just isn't for me after all.
Monologue time!
Hey, that was dangerous. What on earth are you doing? Come on, why else would someone point a gun and pull the trigger? Rudolph reloaded rapidly and pulled the trigger again without any sign of hesitation.
Wait, so he missed the first shot?
He missed the first gun. So he was like behind George, fired, and then missed. Oh god. As the sound of gunfire thundered through the rain, George grabbed at his side and fell to his knees. That's weird. I guess it really does shoot low.
Remember that time he said he was qualified with this gun?
This gun's really got it bad. Somebody! Help me! Uncle Rudolph is... George started stumbling away, still clutching at his side. His voice as he called for help was weak and thin. In comparison, Rudolph, who stood behind him, looked perfectly calm as he fiddled with his gun and checked his sights. It hurts. It hurts. It felt to George as though something had been gouged into his side. It was so painful that he could barely stand and walk.
Gouged?
Yeah. He leaned against the trunk of a tree. After he crouched down, trying to cover his wound, he was no longer able to stand back up. George didn't have a clue what was going on. However, he had felt as though something was wrong this whole time. Of course, it was strange that he'd be called out alone to a place like this, at a time like this. And yet, how could he have known that something was wrong? After all, his own uncle had told him that his grandfather was asking him to join the family conference. How could he have suspected? Sorry about this, George-kun. It hurts, doesn't it? If I knew it'd come to this, it would have been kinder to blow out your brains from behind. I thought it'd be too cruel to finish off before you knew I hit you, but looks like I got it backwards.
Told you, monologue.
Why? Uncle Rudolph? Why would my kind uncle do this? Forget about this. By tomorrow night, all of it won't have happened. With a quick use of the lever handle, he loaded another bullet. The casing of the bullet that had pierced George's side fell heartlessly in front of him. Everyone's gonna die in a sudden, unfortunate accident. Until that moment, we'll all be a big, happy family.
How long before Rudolph gets shot in the back?
That's how it's gonna be.
Count it down.
So don't worry about this.
Here we go. He's monologuing too long.
Forget it all. Of course, George didn't have a clue what Rudolph was talking about. Mind you, let me have my monologue. I've been waiting for this moment for too long. All he knew was that Rudolph wanted to kill him, and that he showed no trace of hesitation. His image of Rudolph as the ideal, cool, joke-loving adult didn't match up with the man standing in front of him holding a gun. No. Maybe this feels wrong because it fits him too well. He has that same smile. He was about to tell some hilarious joke, but he's pointing a gun at me. Why would that kind, funny Uncle Rudolph do this? It made him unbelievable, unimaginably sad, and tears flowed from his eyes. Uncle Rudolph, I admired you so much. Haven't always told you, George-kun. Make sure you don't end up as an adult like me. Now you see why, in the next world, make learning how to spot villains your first priority. I know you can do it. After all, it's just another kind of studying. He bit down the pain in his side. With the last of his strength, George threw his whole body into a roundhouse kick.
That was a pistol!
At the same time, fire spat from Rudolph's gun. The bullet pierced George's chest. George spun around as he fell amidst an outpouring of blood. He moaned wordlessly, clenching blood-stained teeth. A frigid gun was pressed harshly against his temple. And how many times has he shot so far, mind you? 4? So long. You'll become a great man in the next world. Don't get blinded by money like me. I can't believe that my uncle would kill for money. They're so innocent. People can kill over money. The ruthless trigger forestalled any further questions. George's hands, which had been covering his wound, dropped lifelessly. When Rudolph saw the last glimmer of life leave him, he sighed deeply and looked tired. That was easier than I thought. Rudolph looked up into the dark, rainy sky, the raindrops hitting him full in the face, and laughed with an indescribable expression, his tongue hanging out. I thought my conscience would bug me more. Now that it's over, it was pretty easy. Rudolph laughed. This was probably just the thing Curie had hoped for. It had taken considerable effort to kill George. He may have been merciless, but the last traces of a conscience in Rudolph's heart had probably slowed him down. However, now that he had killed someone with his own hands, a turning point that few people ever reach, Rudolph had finally awakened. No, he finally understood. It's just like squeezing dough out of a bunch of morons. The same old game of musical chairs. There's a pile of money in front of you. The first one to reach it wins. The slow ones just get kicked down to hell. Even I've driven dozens of poor fools into debt with my earlier swindles. Several of those probably end up bankrupt and some of those might have hanged themselves. And I always laughed like it was none of my business. And that's all there is to it. The only difference now is that, for the first time, I've dealt the final blow with my own hands. Thanks, Kyrie. You're always the best at cutting away my naivete. Rudolph's evil laugh rang out. The laugh was so purely evil it was almost soothing. Hypocritical evil that still contains some pangs of conscience is far more repulsive to behold. If a man's committed to doing great evil anyway, how much more pleasant and gallant is it when he's wholly devoted to his goal? In that sense, Rudolph's evil smile and laugh were pleasant and gallant indeed. Which means that brutal, bloody stage of the dining hall must have been soothing as well.
Oh boy!
Oh good.
That's a good thing that Rudolph's out of bullets now to not save himself.
We'll see what happens.
I was kind of under the vague impression that he probably would have had more rounds on him, but I feel like the fact that we've specifically counted 4 is going to end up being significant.
Probably. A clang, a thud, a crack, a squish. A strange mixture of these sounds kept repeating over and over at the same tempo. Each time, a red splash landed on the tablecloth dangling nearby. Jessica-chan, can you hear me? Carrie asked this with the sort of smile any aunt might make to her niece. However, Jessica didn't answer. There was nothing particularly surprising about this. After all, by now, her nose had been broken, her eyes had been smashed, her teeth had been knocked out, and not only her nose but her entire face was now hardly recognizable as a face, just a lump of bloody flesh. Kyrie finally stopped her task of repeatedly smashing Jessica's face with the stock of her gun. Still sitting on top of Jessica, she tossed her gun to the side, pulled a compact out of her pocket, and looked at her own face in the mirror. Then, finally, she realized that her face was covered by speckles of fresh blood.
Oh boy, chessboards were fun.
They were. How terrible. These clothes will have to go too. with a muffled laugh. Kira shakily rose to her feet. Jessica wasn't moving anymore. She'd been convulsing a bit until a second ago, but now she was as still as a stone. Smashing a woman's face is nothing new to your aunt, okay? Sorry about that. If you hadn't resisted, I could have given you a much cleaner death. Kira pulled the tablecloth off and used it like a towel to wipe the blood from all over her body. However, instead of taking the blood off, it just smeared it around, and did nothing to remove the stench of blood and death that covered her. When she got tired of rubbing the tablecloth against the blood, Kira walked over to the extension line telephone in the corner of the room. Then, she dialed the number for the cousin room in the guest house. Hello, it's me. It's your turn now, Battler-kun. Go to the spot in front of the chapel, please. Yes, that's right. Oh, I haven't been given any instructions from Maria-chan. Have her wait there. Yes. Keep your wits about you. I'm rooting for you to be chosen as the successor, Battler-kun. With the same smile as usual and the partly wiped splashes of blood still covering her face, Kira finished her call to Battler. When she set down the receiver, there was a small knock, and Rudolph came back into the room. Hey, you look like shit. Jessica-chan has better reflexes than I gave her credit for. I didn't think she'd be able to fight back from a situation like that. It was a bit of a shame she had to end up looking like this. What a waste of a good, natty-esque woman. And how about your end? Did he give you much trouble? No problems here. Plain and simple. When Kira heard Rudolph's instant response, she favored him with an evil smile. Yes, the man she loved was the sort who could do it if he tried, without letting cheap emotions get in the way. I love you, Rudolph-san. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's hard to imagine an easier job to nurture a billion yen. It's like Dad always said, in the life of every man there comes one day when he has to be willing to kill. In other words, always be determined to survive, even if you have to kill to do it. That's my favorite line of his. Heh, what's next? My rifle is hungry for blood. You've got a big job coming up, convincing Battler-kun. Ah, that's right. That'll be a pain. Hope I don't have to end up by pulling the trigger. I've really enjoyed life as a three-person family with Angie. But, if you really want Battler-kun to join in on that, give it your best. Sure, I'll make sure we don't have any complaints from him. Don't worry, I've worked out a scenario to trick him good. Good luck. Even I hope that Angie's beloved big brother doesn't get caught up in the explosion accident. I know. Then, I'll head back to the chapel. Rudolph-san. What? If you can't convince Battler-kun... I know. If that happens, bang! Battler-kun is independent enough that he left the family out of protest when I married you, remember? If you can only convince him halfway, and if things get nasty later on, he'll prove fatal to us. I know. Believe in me. And if I decide that Battler-kun is growing suspicious, I'll kill him myself. He's not my kid after all. Yeah, I know. So promise me one thing, Kira. What's that? If I can trick Battler, and the three of us make it off this island. If that happens, what? Never say that Battler isn't your kid again. After all, you're his mother. Please. Sure, I promise. Kira shrugged and answered as she loaded bullets. You go to the chapel, I'll wait until Battler-kun has left, then clean up everything inside the guest house. Whoa! That's fucked up! Are you sure you'll be okay doing this alone? That's my line. Fucking hell. I'll clean everything up!
That track is so savage!
I need to find out what this track is called. I think it's called, like, it's not Revelation. Anyway.
It's alright,
I'll get to it, I'll let you know later. Battler left the guest house under an umbrella. He had been called to the area in front of the chapel, just like George had been. Not even 30 minutes had passed since the time George and Jessica had been called out. Apparently this test didn't last too long.
Damn geezer. First you never come out, not even for lunch, then you show up in the middle of the night with a test. That living as a shut-in's got his sense of day and night all backwards.
Yeah. Planning all the way, Battler strolled off into the rain. Almost immediately he was swallowed up by the darkness of the rose garden and passed out of sight. And then, Kyrie could be seen coming out from the darkness of the rose garden. Her right hand held a gun, her left an umbrella. Her inner pocket contained the master keyring she had stolen from Goda. Her right pocket had a handful of bullets. Her left held a knife she had taken from the kitchen. She was a carefully and perfectly outfitted murderer. She is armed to the teeth. Good God. Another bolt of lightning struck down from the swelling skies. It lit up only half of Kyrie's face. Her cheek was still covered with Jessica's blood. Under the eaves, Kyrie folded up her umbrella, smiled, and spoke to no one. Hey, everyone. I'm home.
Who's gonna be there? Is it just Maria?
We'll see. We'll see. Rudolph could be seen under the eaves of the chapel. He had hidden his gun in the nearby shadows and was now smoking a cigarette. Should be easy to trick that dimwit, and if it doesn't work, that's just too bad. He glanced over at the place he had stowed his gun. The cigarette smoke began to pleasantly cloud his mind. Bello isn't a kid anymore. He is an adult who can choose his path through life as he pleases. When animals grow up, it's normal for them to form a group and go on a journey. Humans are the only ones that keep treating their young like kids even after they get big. If I'd known it'd come to this, I never would have begged you to come back. I regret dragging you back into the family. He puffed out those words, along with the smoke. When Battler came, he didn't intend to voice those regrets of his. Rudolph was already determined to play the part of the evil murderer who kills for money. Playing out roles. He's still not here. What's taking him so long? At that moment, he heard the sound of someone stepping on gravel. He looked up, thinking that Battler had finally arrived, but the sound had come from the direction opposite of the mansion. Yeah. There she is.
Rudolph, how could you do that to my husband?
Neki, so you're alive.
Sorry that I'm alive, too bad. But my husband wasn't so lucky, how could you?
With a face obscured by anger and tears, Ava slowly walked closer, her gun raised. Her husband had been killed right in front of her. She probably wouldn't even hesitate. Realizing the gun, quivering with anger, was pointed right at his chest, Rudolph backed away. As he pretended to retreat, he approached the gun he had hidden in the shadows. Calm down, Neki. Put the gun down. I never wanted that to happen. Everything happened so fast, there was nothing I could do.
How can you tell such half-baked lies?
As Ava had said, it really had been a half-baked, pointless thing to say. Rudolph would have said anything if he thought it would calm Ava's emotions before she pulled the trigger, which he looked capable of doing at any moment now. Then, Rudolph's foot came in contact with his gun. Let's just talk this over. Judge-kun should be here soon. Oh, hey Judge-kun, we're over here. Rudolph waved as though George was coming from behind Ava. Let Ava's attention turn in that direction. That idiot. My simple big sister has always been a sucker. Die.
Oops.
Gunfire. Then, a bit later, the sound of something heavier than rain drip-dropping onto the cobblestone.
Rudolph, I've always been able to see through your tricks.
The bullet Ava fired went straight into Rudolph's chest. The bullet Rudolph fired at Ava missed, landing near her feet. It does shoot low. Yes. Yes, I was right. This gun does shoot low. He dropped the gun into the puddle with a splash, staggered backwards, and leaned against the wall of the chapel. No, that's not it. All good westerns end with the bad guy's bullet missing. Shout out to episode 6.
Oof.
I wonder if there's a connection there that I can pull from. Ava dashed up to him, kicked the gun away the gun that had fallen into a puddle, and grabbed Rudolph by the collar.
What about George? Where is he? I won't let you kill him.
Sorry, Neki. Already got him.
Liar.
Did it in the bushes over there. Go take a look. You'll see soon.
No, you...
Ava, who claimed to know all of her little brother's tricks, also knew that Rudolph's final words, as his consciousness began to fade thanks to the bullet wound, were not a lie.
How could you? George! George!
An empty shell casing bounced off the cobblestone. The furious gun barrel was pressed against Rudolph's forehead. Go ahead and shoot. I doubt that'll bring him much peace, though.
And as I said way back in like episode 4, I think, it makes so much sense that part of the reason that Ava is so cagey to Angie in particular would be if her parents were the culprit.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It might put some of her actions in a different light.
I think this is the real one, Ben.
Maybe, if this is the truth. It's certainly possible.
Oh no.
A bolt of lightning turned everything white. However, the walls of the chapel were stained blood red. A red splash like a crushed tomato came out from the back of Riddle's head and covered the wall. Then, leaving a red trail behind him, Riddle sagged downwards, sat on the ground, and fell over.
George!
Ava dashed off towards the bushes. She found George's corpse almost immediately, screamed, and broke down sobbing. Riddle's bloody corpse was exposed to the rain that ran down off the eaves. His eyes were still wide open. A fist-sized, flesh-covered hole was open in the back of his head, and his insides were exposed to the open air. Inside was a mixed jelly of flesh, brains, and spinal fluid. That goop, which looked like someone had mixed it up with a spoon, dragged from his eyes, nose, ears, mouth, and the hole in his head.
Dad.
Angie clutched her head, sobbing and moaning. Her father had dirtied his hands with murder over money, and on top of that, he had faced such a cruel end, and Angie had been forced to see his corpse. It was hard to imagine a more painful experience for her daughter to go through.
Leon.
I guess so. I'm totally fed up with this. It's completely meaningless. Castle-san! I know you're here somewhere. Please, make this game stop. There's no point to it. As if in answer to that yell, a black shadow appeared a few seats in front of them. Hey, Ben.
Hey!
What a kind face. Nah. Or perhaps she was sitting there the whole time. Maybe we just couldn't see her until we were aware of her. It was, without a doubt, the back of Castle's head. Castle-san! Pipe down back there. Can't you watch the show quietly? The witch turned around with bored eyes, as though the two people yelling were the strange ones. Please, stop this! We realize that this is the sealed Catbox world of October 4th and 5th. The game's like messages. Maybe more like a roundabout love letter.
No. Oh,
a single message can be conveyed over several games. But now we understand. We know that endless tales can seep out of the sealed 2-day Catbox. And beyond that, I even know the culprit and the motive. That has already been revealed, and it doesn't have anything to do with this game. We both know the answer, that this is a Catbox tale, so there shouldn't be any need for any further games. If this is supposed to be a game between you and us, then we already know the answer. The game should be over.
Just shut up already. Didn't you hear Bone tell you to be quiet?
Another shadow appeared in the next seat over, turned around, and scolded the pair. There is a point. If you just watch, you'll see it. Are you the game master? Not at all.
what?
Then who is it? Could it be Claire? If you watch, you'll see. Not much longer now.
The tragedy has already reached its climax. Who will survive, I wonder?
But Castle isn't the game master, then who is? Could Claire have created this cruel tale? Or are there even more witches playing around with this Catbox?
I do find it interesting that so far we've now found out that Kyrie has missed 2 shots. Which is Ava and Jessica.
It's true.
I love the idea that she's actually
She's
just
not
like,
as good as she says she is.
Yeah, she's not as good as she says she is, and the reason she's beating up Jessica is just like, oh, no, she fought back. Oh man, her reflexes real good.
Were great. She's got an empty gun, yeah. Oh god. This is horrifying. The guest house was wrapped in silence. There were no sounds, no trace of anyone's presence, no breathing from anyone alive. There wasn't anything to be heard anymore. If anything could be heard, it was the sound of the murderer's feet stepping across the floor. Yeah, this idea of if you kill people, you kill yourself. Kyrie slowly passed through the lounge. In her right hand was a gun. In her left hand was a knife. The knife was stained with blood, and some was still dripping from the tip, leaving behind red tracks like a demon's footprints.
Oof.
Her hands were filled with tools of murder. So, she wasn't capable of doing anything but murder. In that sense, at that moment, she was clearly and purely a murderer. The murderer went to the entrance hall, and then, only after reaching the front door, looked down to see the 2 bloodstained hands of a killer. Those hands gripped the tools of death that had performed a cruel massacre. Then, at last, the murderer realized that it wouldn't even be possible to open the door like this, and tossed aside the knife. Then, the murderer reached out to the door, turned around calmly, and spoke. Sorry everyone, but don't worry. A few days later, the newspapers will be talking about an unfortunate accident, and I'm sure the news shows, the papers, and rumor mongers everywhere will be sure that you spend your time in happy ignorance until the instant of the accident. In other words, you'll all have had a good time until midnight on October 5th. So said the one who had seen that bloody guest house red. At this hour, the cousins are all staying up late and playing around, and the servants who have to get up early are all snoring. The ones on the late shift are probably filling in the log or taking a break about now. That's how it is, from where I am now. I can hear laughter coming from the cousin room.
She is fucking insane.
She's done. Humans outside the cat box would probably never understand what Kyrie was saying. Only she, shut inside the cat box of the explosion accident, could know what it really meant. As she weaved her beautiful magic.
Oh boy.
Beautiful bloody magic. Outside, the rain poured down heavily. Kyrie almost picked up an umbrella, but then stopped suddenly as if she'd thought of something. Then, she started walking out into the rain, not caring at all whether she got wet or not. Did the murderer not want an umbrella to get in the way of her gun? Or was she hoping that the rain could act as a shower to get the blood off her? Kyrie stopped walking, as though something unexpected had caught her attention. However, this time it was no whim of hers.
How could you kill my husband?
Oh, Ava-san. That's surprising. How could I have missed you from that distance?
I'm just as surprised. I didn't think I'd survive.
You came here from the underground stairway behind the chapel, right? In that case...
That's right. I bumped into Rudolph in front of the chapel.
And how is he doing?
Oh, just wonderful. Managed to have a friendly sibling chat for the first time in a while.
I see. He's such a show-off, but so unreliable in a tight spot. Looks like he can't do anything without me after all. He's fucking cold. After that short exchange of words, Kyrie already knew that Rudolph had been killed. However, no trace of urgency or panic rose to her face. She just closed her eyes with her usual unconcerned expression, and when she opened them again, she had regained her composed smile. Thank you. I'm grateful. This way, I really can have everything to myself.
What's that blood on your clothes? You just came out of the guest house, didn't you? Don't tell me.
Yeah, that's right. I'm right in the middle of a murder case at the moment.
You killed them. All of them. Even Maria-chan.
There was no need to let them live until morning. When morning came, there would be an uproar and that could be a pain. They might have used a radio to contact someone off the island and gotten help. So, this was clearly the optimal move to take. If you spin the chessboard around and look at it that way, right?
Chessboards were fun!
Yeah.
I think, I almost want to call this Chessboards were fun Redux. Because this is worse.
It is worse. Fucking hell.
Monster, I can't believe you'd be so blinded by greed that you commit murder.
You weren't doing so bad yourself.
That was an accident. I didn't mean to kill them. Unlike you.
No. Just like me. If that gun hadn't gone off, you would have kept on arguing and jumping at each other. Then the rest of you would have eventually reached the same answer as me, just a few steps slower.
I'm not a murderer.
Not true. You're just a murderer who didn't get a chance. You've just been saved by that accidental discharge. If it weren't for that bit of good luck and if I hadn't moved before you did, then you would have played the same role I'm playing now. That fact won't go away no matter how much you try to deny it. It's the truth of a different future. Now, I'm gonna stop for a second because talking about how if she hadn't done it, then Ava would have done it. If the culprit hadn't done it, these people would have done it, right? There is very clearly this thing of like, and this is what I was talking about when I was talking about Erica playing the detective and being the villain of like the meta story. It's the same thing. Every story has to have a villain. Yeah. Everyone is potentially the villain. Everyone.
The other thing is
so
like,
cool.
The island's exploded. We can't have the story where Leon gets out unscathed. Well, it's almost like the fitting end that Leon's final action in the story is to witness
it's
everything going wrong.
Going fucked up. It's so interesting. Like, because like something went wrong, there was an explosion. Yeah. Is it possible at all that it could have just been an accident and everyone was just like playing happily? Is that even a thing? Like, like there has to be a villain.
Yeah.
That's the tragedy of this tale. Somebody had to cause it. It's so good. I don't think you said your line.
Don't try to confuse me.
Nailed it. However, on the inside, Ava understood. Back then, she had probably been saved by the accidental discharge by coincidence. If the argument had continued much longer, she would surely have grown a desire to kill Kraus and the others and might even have carried it out. She simply could not deny the existence of that demon deep within her heart. Only the theatergoers knew. They knew that she could have become a killer in another world. Actually, minus Gerda. Gerda could never kill. Kyrie, who didn't have the theater-going ability, knew this fact as well. Maybe they really... You want to say something?
No, it's alright. I think that fact can hang in the air.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Because I feel like it's more about ability than it is motive.
Rude. Maybe there really was something extraordinary about her after all. So, for some time, Ava could only grind her teeth in silence, still pointing her gun.
I don't understand. You're also a mother. You feel the pain of giving birth to your own child. How can you not know how precious a life is? How are you capable of doing all this?
That's the thing about kids. If you just sleep around, they get made all by themselves.
That's not what I'm talking about.
They say that children are bonds, right?
What?
Children are bonds you tie to your husband. She was a bond to make Rudolf-san acknowledge me so I could take him back from that woman. But you've killed Rudolf-san now. You understand what that means, right?
What do you mean I understand?
Just that right now, I'm the wife of no man, and I have no intention of being a mother.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
For Angie watching this. That's like... Oh.
Definitely. I am me. Kyrie. Now that Rudolf-san's dead, I'm not even a Shumir anymore. I live to benefit me.
Right, Rudolph is dead, so maybe you aren't a wife anymore, but you still have Angie-chan, don't you? You're still a mother, aren't you?
Didn't you hear what I just said about bonds? Now that Rudolf-san is gone, Angie's of no use to me.
How can you say that? How can any mother say that about her own daughter?
Ava Nei-san, let's put a stop to this. We can be honest here.
Honest?
Did either of us marry because we wanted children? We didn't, right? We married because we wanted to live with the man we loved. And once you've married, you never want to let that man go for the rest of your life. Correct? Children are just weapons to be used for that goal.
I'd never have children for a reason like that.
But people can have children for just that reason. Oh my god, it's not even that far from the truth. Kyrie kept on speaking motionlessly, ignoring the falling rain. Her relaxed smile didn't falter for an instant. Angie was just a chain I used to tie Rudolf-san to me. Or you could call her a chess piece, someone to play the role of the kid in our family drama. To me, Angie was nothing more than a piece, necessary so that I could act the part of a good mother in front of Rudolf-san.
Could you say that to Angie-chan's face?
That would be just a bit too sad, so I won't say it to her directly. I plan to write her a letter asking her to forgive her bad mother, then vanish from her life. You see what Rosa-san and Maria-chan are like, right? Now that Rudolf-san's gone, Angie's just a chain tying me down. I'll go back to being just Kyrie and enjoy the rest of my life at my leisure. A new challenge and a new life. And maybe even a new love.
And you call yourself human? You call yourself Angie-chan's mother?
Who gives a damn about Angie? I've never liked that little brat.
Jesus fuck, Kyrie!
How can you?
Quite easily. You've been released from the family drama too, haven't you? Ooh. Let's sing the praises of a woman's freedom. You should thank me for having George-kun killed for you too.
You monster!
The two yells and the sound of gunfire thundered across the dark rose garden. Slowly, Ava fell backwards. Then, she landed in a puddle, scattering countless drops of water. Across from her, Kyrie spun around as though dancing. Beautiful, black rose petals scattered around her. The petals were a dark, dark red. As they sprayed from her throat, she spun around in a circle and slowly crumpled. Then, she fell to the ground, sending muddy water flying. The two women had shot and fallen. However, when the thunder roared, only Ava sat back up. You're getting up, dude. Ava
I think I am. I think I am getting up.
You getting up?
I think I'm getting up.
Why? What's the problem? Are you okay? What's the problem? I don't understand what the problem is. Kyrie missed. What is the? I don't understand what the problem is. What's the problem?
So fucking bad. Like.
What are you concerned about, my dude?
The other thing is like if this is the true series of events and this is what what actually happened, it also like Ava not telling Angie the truth was kind of a good thing, you know?
I would say it would be. Yeah.
Oh god!
I told you, if this is the truth, you need to put some of Ava's actions back in perspective. Without love, it cannot be seen, motherfucker.
I hate.
Maybe.
Oh, Kanuri was right all along.
Ava hadn't been shot. Kiri's intensity had made her fall backwards, but the bullet had once again slipped right past her. Ava cursed her good luck. Why couldn't this luck have saved her husband or her son?
Die there, for Angie-chan's sake as well. You'll be killed in the explosion accident. Till the moment of your death, you worried about the daughter you left behind. Yes, I'll write that into the lid of the cat box.
Oh my god. When Kiri heard this, blood tripped from her grinning mouth, and she seemed to say something in response. However, her voice came out only as globs of blood from the hole in her throat. No words. Damn! Shot her in the throat! Oh god. I don't want to think about that. You doing okay?
Mom, it's a lie, it's all a lie.
Angie, please calm down. This is just a game. That couldn't possibly be what your mother truly feels. It's just something the game must have made on Kiri's piece say.
Julian!
But saying that did nothing to calm Angie's sobs. I don't blame her. Even if she knows it's just a game, she's been forced to see not only her mother's death, but also her mother announcing that she was the culprit of Matt's murder, who didn't even love her and daughter. Anyone would sob after hearing that. Bencastle-san! Enough of this! I don't care who the game master is! Stop this pointless game right now! When Leon yelled this, the theater suddenly went pitch black, swallowed in darkness. However, this wasn't enough to shock Leon. Leon continued to yell Bencastle's name to the darkness, telling the witch to stop this game. Then, a single beam of light shone down upon the stage. Hey Claire, how you doing? It was Claire, the one who had appeared for just a second right before this cruel game began. Claire! So, you were the game master after all? I don't get it, why? Claire didn't answer. In fact, it looked as though she hadn't even heard. Her eyes were blank and you couldn't tell what she was looking at. In fact, she was even forgetting to blink. She looked just like a doll. Because remember, Claire is not actually the culprit. They're a vessel to represent the culprit.
Yeah.
Yep. Then another beam of light lit up the side of the stage. Beneath that light stood Bencastle. At the same moment that there appeared to be no one in the audience, a thunderous applause rang out. Bencastle raised her right hand in response to the applause. She kept doing so until it died down. Bencastle-san, so you were the game master of this game after all? Question mark. Leon, how many times do I have to tell you that I'm not the game master? Then are you saying it's Claire? That's impossible. Yep, of course it's impossible. After all, Claire died. We were just conducting her funeral. Did you forget that? Then, just who is standing there? A corpse. She's not a mannequin, so of course, she still has her insides. She's hiding it under a beautiful exterior, but she's actually packed full of guts. When Bencastle raised her right hand, a light fell on it and a black, shining scythe appeared there. It was a cold, merciless, and cruel object, like something a classic Grim Reaper might hold. But what are you planning to do? When they're alive, you can enjoy watching them struggle. When they're dead, you can enjoy tearing out their guts. Tales are things you get to enjoy twice. That's what it means to be a witch of theater going. Bencastle pressed the blade of her Reaper's scythe against Claire's stomach and slowly slid it across. Then, along the line she traced, Claire's dress was sliced open. It was now clear that the scythe she held was not a fake one for theatrical use, and it was clear Just what she planned to do next that made her cruel smile so fitting. Angie, can you hear me?
I hear you. Tear me to bits, make me read. What's next? You're showing me this worst possible tale to hurt me even more. This is fun for you. Yeah, I'll bet it is. I had a blast too. You think I'd give up after that? I think I'd just sit around crying any longer because of that disgusting game of yours.
Both you and Leon seem to have the wrong idea. I'm not the game master. This tale is not one that I created.
And the woman in the dress is the game master?
No, she isn't. That can't be. Then who is the game master? Who wove this disgusting tale? You still don't understand. What don't we understand? Angie, you gambled everything on a faint chance of a miracle, throwing yourself forward. I invited you to October 4th and 5th of 1986 out of respect for your courage. What was your goal? To take your family back. That would be a very difficult thing, and without the best of a miracle, a thoroughly impossible one. You were prepared for that, weren't you?
Yes, I'm prepared. I still haven't given up on Oni-chan, Mom and Dad.
Whether you give up or not is your choice. That's your own game after all. I won't support you and I won't even watch. I've already enjoyed my fill of games that use the piece that you are, so I have no need for you any longer.
Glad to hear it. And why am I here? Aren't you the one who invited me?
Yes, that's right. I invited you here to thank you for entertaining me for a while as my piece.
Thank me. So this is how witches show gratitude? Sure, this has been loads of fun, you beast! How could you make this kind of game and do that to Mom and Dad?
Angie, you made a wish, hoping to take your family back. However, you also made another wish, remember?
No, I don't.
You wanted to know what happened on that day.
Oh!
What happened on Rakensborough on October 4th and 5th, 1986? Didn't Angie leave on her journey with Amakusa because she longed to answer that question?
That's right. So what's your point?
You don't mean... Leon realized what Benkastel was getting at.
I've been there.
Realized and was unable to say anymore.
I feel you, Leon.
The Game Master's neither Benkastel nor Claire. Then who is it? That's the wrong question. There is no Game Master. That could mean only one thing. Angie, you still don't understand.
What?
This is the truth. The insides of the cat box of October 4th and 5th, 1986. Afterwards, Ava survived the explosion by escaping to Corridorian, and since she never spoke of the inside of the cat box, no matter how much she wanted to know, that truth was shut away within the cat box for all eternity.
What are you saying?
Only Ava returned alive. Even though the police claimed it was an accident, the public didn't believe it. Then, she took over her husband's company, and the harder she worked to make it more and more successful, the more enemies she made. A public image of her as a great queen of conspiracy grew stronger and stronger. I'm sure she wanted to tell people about the truth. That truth that no one would ever believe without proof. Bit by bit, Ava's heart began to snap. You rejected Ava, so she rejected you in turn. The relationship between the last two members of your family was strained to the limit. Each time she compared you with her beloved son, she grew more and more twisted and broken. Then, a strange message bottle was picked up and became a topic of conversation. It contained a bizarre story, one that told of a mysterious serial murder connected to Regenja's gold. Everyone rejected the explosion accident theory and started to think up conspiracy theories. Some of those theories named Ava as the culprit, which tormented her even more. However, Ava used that to build up the cat box, and until the moment of her death she protected it. She protected the lock that held the cat box shut. So, no human would ever reach the truth inside the cat box, not unless those witches who crossed the sea of fragments opened the lock. This is the truth.
You're lying. You're lying. Lying! This is really the truth. You should be able to say so in red. There's no way you can, of course. There isn't.
Angie, calm down. Angie writhed with such strength that the chains on her arms and legs looked like they might snap. All over her body, a red, gooey liquid started to seep out. It was as though cracks had opened up all over her, and blood was leaking out of all of them. What's that? You want me to announce it clearly with the red truth? Then I'll say it just for you. That this is all truth.
No!
Angie's yell covered up Ernst's red truth. Stupid kid. If only you hadn't made me say that. You could have shut it up inside the cat box. But you just had to ask, right? I knew you would, of course. And I so wanted to see you scream like that. A lovely expression like that should keep me laughing for about 100 years. Go back to being scrap meat.
Oh, Dad, it's all right.
Angie! Angie! As Angie held her head and screamed, the blood dripping from her finally grew so thick that it started scattering all over the place. Then, bit by bit, her body began to melt, to fall apart. Then, bits of her began to pile up on the chair until she was nothing but a pile of guts and scraps. Shout out to episode 4. Is the truth really that sacred? How absurd. How foolish. Why can't humans control their own truth? They stupidly search for the truth like that's all that matters, and when they finally find it and can't stand it, they turn themselves into scrap meat. Hey, are you watching? Claire? You wanted to hide this truth too, didn't you? For fun. You wrote several catbox tales and planned to seal them in message bottles like the end of a mystery novel you loved. Then you threw them into the sea to save those that would suffer if they knew this truth. You sealed everything in a catbox and even provided the lock. And I've sliced that box open for you. All that effort you spent to hide it has gone to waste. I've exposed all of the truth you hid with your death. Is that what you've been after? You did all of this just to mock Claire's death, and then you showed it to Angie to make her suffer. You really were an evil witch after all. I've been a witch the whole time, a traveler whose only goal is to escape boredom. Care for it and love it while it's alive, then eat the guts when it's dead. That's how witches live. I cannot forgive you for what you've done. You've hurt Angie and humiliated Claire, the person I would become in another world, even. I won't forgive you. Leon, you're still Claire's hope, even after her death. From the moment Claire got thrown off that cliff, her fate was already sealed. I'm sure she felt a little bit of salvation to know that another her is in happiness in another world. That's right. I'm her salvation, so I must live life to the fullest. For the both of us. Leon, let me show you just a bit more of this tale of the truth. I'm not interested! No, it'll be very interesting. After the duel between Eva and Kyrie, the guest house is wrapped in silence. Let me invite you to the parlor at that point in time. The parlor? The one in the mansion. When Castle snapped her fingers and the scene of the mansion's parlor unfolded before them. In the cruel tale they had just been shown, the parlor hadn't been particularly important. Jessica had been summoned to the parlor, but she was then immediately led to the dining hall and killed there. So there hadn't been anything to see in the parlor. In fact, there was nothing to see in the parlor now appearing before Leon. Just what's supposed to be here? As you can see, there's nothing here. But watch, I'm about to show you something interesting. If you call it interesting, that's a sure sign that it isn't. Go on, take a look. It's right there, right in that corner. Castle was pointing at nothing more than a corner of the room. There was nothing there. She had told Leon to look there, so the latter was expecting something terrible to be there, but there really was nothing there at all. That's right, there's nothing there. At least, not in this world. But what if we peek into the next fragment over?
What?
On the white, blank wall, bit by bit, a splash of blood seeped into view. Then, right there, a corpse appeared. But that couldn't be. This is... me? It was Leon, lying dead against the wall. It was sure me Leon's corpse lay there exposed. What's going on here? Why am I here? This is supposed to be Claire's world, not mine. Claire and I can't exist at the same time, right? Yes, that's right. That's because I just switched worlds, switched fragments. I switched your world, that is. I don't understand. It's very simple. They both end the same way. I don't get it. Why should I be dead here? In your world, on October 4th, 1986, Beatrice's funeral was held just before the family conference. Yes, I know that. And for me, that happened today, a short while ago. I wonder what will happen between that time and late that night. Nothing at all! The cousins will all play together, and the whole family will have dinner together. Then comes the family conference after night falls. You were going to succeed the headship when you turned 20, right? Was the entire family satisfied with that, I wonder? I don't know if they were satisfied, but the decision had been made. The head made it himself. Looks like even you don't really believe they were satisfied. That's it right there. Kinzo adored you more than anything, so he tried to make an exception and have you succeed the headship directly. Of course, his children wouldn't have been happy with that. The siblings objected to having Leon succeed the headship. Even Kraus joined in, saying that Leon was still too young. Then, on the night of the family conference, Kinzo tried proposing a difficult riddle. Could it be? That's right, the riddle of the epitaph. As you can tell by the mechanism set in the chapel, Kinzo thought the epitaph trick near the beginning, when the mansion of Kenshin was being built. He had the romantic idea of someone using it as a test to select his successor. Kinzo decided to present that riddle at the family conference. Did he plan to give the position of successor to the person who solved it? Or did he promise to reconsider Leon's position as successor if it was solved? Either way, Kinzo was confident. He was confident that no one could be able to solve this tough riddle, which he created himself. After that, everything happened exactly like the truth you just saw. The siblings solved it right away and there was a quarrel over the pile of gold. Then, Kiri and Rudolph decided to prevent any chance of the crime being discovered the next morning and an outcry being raised by committing the murder late that night. They used the phone to call the kids out for the cousins one by one, then killed them. As the first of the cousins, you were the first to be called out. Then, Kiri shot you dead right here in the parlor. No, that's not quite right. You're the Yoshimiya Leon from the early evening of October 4th, 1986. So I'll say it this way. Tonight, Kiri will shoot you dead in the parlor. That's insane. That's right, probability. Just like Leon can be born from Claire thanks to a rare miracle, Aunt Kiri only commits murder with a tiny probability, close to 0. That must be it. Are you the witch who specializes in finding extremely improbable worlds? That is correct. I had to find one fragment out of 2,578,917 in order to discover the miracle that is you. However, it was very, very, very easy to find this result for your world. After all, probability isn't a factor. I'm a witch who can find any miracle, no matter how unlikely it is. But I can't find things that don't exist. If the witch is certainly really guarantees that something is certain, even I can't win against her. But then I'm... With a 2,578,916 out of 2,578,917 probability, you live in the world where you're Claire, get toyed with by an unescapable fate, and reach a tragic end. And with a 1 out of 2,578,917 probability, you live as a Yoshimiya Leon, and are killed by Kiri tonight. I hate numbers. In other words, your fate, no, the fate the two of you share, traps you in an inescapable dead end, a hell of fate, with a 2,578,917 out of 2,578,917 probability. To put it another way, it's a certain fate, with absolutely no chance for a miracle. Sucks for you, Claire. Or should I say, Beatrice. Just when a bright light seemed to turn the world white, the scene suddenly changed back to the theater. On the stage, Bencastle's Reaper scythe slid across Claire's stomach as the latter stood absolutely still. A red line was drawn across the white skin, exposed now that the dress had been cut, and black blood began to seep out.
It's ink!
Beatrice. Trapped in that inescapable, certain, locked-away pair of days, you became a witch who could give birth to endless possibilities within that 2-day catbox. In exchange, it was absolutely certain that you would not be saved or rewarded. However, you had a dream. You dreamed of a Yoshimiya Leon. You consoled yourself with the thought of a miracle world where you could have lived in happiness without ever becoming Claire. I had to work hard to find Leon. Just as Bear had dreamed, Leon's existence is a true miracle. And at the end of your funeral, I wanted to show you. To show you that, even with that miracle, you couldn't have escaped from tragedy. Through the small crack between the bars of the jail that imprisoned her, the witch called Beatrice dreamed of a world where she might have been happy. However, the space she could see through that crack in the bars was just another part of the same jail. The more I hear, the less I understand about you. Why would you do something like this? I lost a game to Beatrice, so I wanted to get back at her. Yeah, now I feel a lot better about losing that game. Hey, Beato, are you watching? Can you see this? And do you remember? Remember when I promised you that a miracle would occur with certainty? So, Leon, allow me to return you to your world right before Beato's eyes. It looks like the theater-going witches are all sick and tired of those happy family get-together scenes. So I'll send you to the moment just before Kyrie shoots you. Then I'll make Beato watch that moment. Die, scum Leon, the last hope of that scum Beato. Bencastle raised her Reaper Scythe, swung it down with gusto and plunged it deep into Claire's stomach. Did you think you'd get an easy death? But humiliating and tearing out a corpse's guts is my specialty. She took the blade end of the scythe and heartlessly, ruthlessly, brutally raised it up into the air. Along a vertical line from Claire's stomach to her chest, the blade cut deeply, slicing Claire open. The red-black insides jutted out, then burst like a dam breaking, covering the world with dark red entrails. Here we go. Steal the Italian's gold, you say? You coward, Shiramia, and you call yourself a soldier of the Empire! Father, I do love and respect you, Father, but your feelings are something Why? Why? Why did you save me? Why didn't you let me die? Because of that terrible injury, I've been forced to live in a body like this! I never wanted to live in a body like this! This body isn't even capable of love! What's the point in living like that? This isn't a human's life. It's like being furniture. That's right. I'm furniture. Furniture! Why? Why didn't you let me die back then? When I came to, I was in the parlor of the mansion. When did I get here? I heard a sound behind me that slowly turned around, and there... Sorry, please don't take this personally. I could see down the frigid barrel of the gun on Kyrie was pointing. Then, she slowly pulled the trigger.
I do like the thrown-in suggestion that Kinzo was the one that suggested stealing the gold.
Absolutely. It's fucked up. I could feel a razor-sharp wind pass through my body, like a knife slicing through butter. Prepared for death and hoping to see my fate until the end, I slowly opened my eyes. The world had been cut in two. Carrie was frozen in place like a statue, still pointing her gun with a cold smile on her face, and had been cut in half at an angle, the top part of her slowly sliding off to the side. No, that wasn't quite right. Oh boy. This is Executioner. This track is Executioner. That wasn't right at all. It wasn't just Kyrie. The whole world had been sliced in half at an angle, and was slowly sliding off to one side. Then, immediately after fissures seemed to appear across the world, it shattered. Yes! Oh! Yeah! Woo! You!
When you and a cat, you tend to pick up their habits.
He pointed at Bencastle with the tip of the pitch black sword that had sliced the world, glaring at her. What's this? Are you saying you came back here on a whim?
There's no way you'd end things on a happy note. You really hate Beatrice so much.
You think I'd let her win and get away? I have to pay her back in full for the humiliation she caused me. When I hold a grudge, a mere century isn't long enough for me to forget it.
You're a gloomy person.
Come on, you mustn't neglect my heart.
You okay, Leon? Hey, what's wrong?
Leon had suddenly doubled over, groaning. My chest hurts. It's... Will roughly grabbed the hand that was pressed against Leon's chest and tore it away. Blood was seeping out from where Leon's hand had been. It was the place that the bullet would have entered if Kira had shot Leon. Looks like Leon's body is almost ready to accept its fate.
Leon, hang in there. Damn these chains.
When Will tried to pick Leon's body up, he finally noticed the chains attached to each wrist and ankle. Get that shit up! Get it with the sword! What's this? Are you trying to take that kid and escape? I won't let you. I'm about to let everyone watch as Leon coughs up blood, despairing at the fact that there's no hope in any of the many worlds, before finally dying in agony.
Leon isn't a show.
Yeah! Will swung his pitch black sword and destroyed the chains binding Leon. Yes, this isn't a show. This isn't a show at all for us.
Not at all.
Yeah. The chains and shackles shattered into little bits like glass, then vanished. You intend to get in the way of my fun?
It totally just is Mirage Coordinator, just like dialed back.
It's a remix, I believe, of Mirage Coordinator and Golden Slaughterer, I think.
You aren't God. All you can do is sneer at fate. Leon's fate is going to be decided by Leon. You can't treat the human fate like a toy.
You've got guts. Saying that to the Greatburn Castle, Witch of the Senate. I have no more use for you either, get it? You've shown the Bear's fantasies a mystery and cut it to pieces. You fulfilled your role. I wouldn't let you be, if only you... I would have let you be, if only you just left quietly. Now that you're strolled back in here, you can hardly complain if I make you my plaything. Come to me, my cute kitties. Scratch them up and tear off their skin. Peel them like grapes. Hello. Such cute kittens. But Castle clapped her hands twice. Countless pairs of glaring jewels appeared all around Will and Leon. They were clearly cat eyes, but the way the drool hung from their mouths looked far more terrifying than any cat. Will...
I'll handle this. Throwing kitty nails is nothing new to me.
He's such an edgelord. He's such an edgelord!
He really is.
The number of jewels surrounding them had already reached into the thousands. Will pointed his sword in one direction after another, warding off the surrounding cats.
Get a grip, Leon. You haven't been shot. Don't acknowledge that you have been. No, that you're going to be shot.
Shout out to EP6. Oh my god. Leon tried to fight an incredible tearing pain. No, it was a fight against the promised future that Ben Castle had shown. However, the stake of that future, which the Witch of Miracles had guaranteed would contain no miracle, was firm and merciless. Bit by bit, and yet unceasingly, it continued to pierce into Leon's chest.
Listen up. I'm going to break through that perimeter for just a second. When I do, you need to run with all you've got. Doesn't matter where. Just make sure you get far away from this place and keep on running no matter what happens.
I'll try, to the best of my ability. If I can't do it, please forgive me.
If you can't do it, enough whining. I won't forgive you. Neither will Claire. Did you forget that you're Claire's 1 in 2,578,917 chance? If you give up, you're betraying all the other yous in countless worlds. So don't lose heart. Keep on struggling and struggling. Don't look for a miracle. Be one.
Yeah, Leon! Be a miracle.
You're going to reach a happy future. Don't give up. Don't complain. Just you try complaining again. This time we'll pinch your ass.
Okay. How very confident you are telling this kid to be a miracle when you stand before the Witch of Miracles. Miracles are no more than fantasy. Grovel in this world that has been convicted as a mystery and die horribly like a worm. The witches of theater going are looking forward to watching it.
You call that mystery? I think I'd never accept a mystery without heart. Let the cat who wants to be made into a shamanism strike first.
Shamisen?
Oh, right, I know what that is. It's a
Shamisen.
musical instrument.
Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah. Shamisen. Oh, what a pain. Let's have all of you at once. And will they try it, SSVD's head inquisitor of heresy? This will be the final time I draw my sword.
What a fucking hero. Trash him, kitties.
That fucking face every time. Every time.
Whoa!
That's new.
At once, all of the cat eyes opened wide. Undulating and spinning in a spiral, they swallowed Will up. Holy Chessboards. But Will and Leon weren't swallowed up. The cats that had flown in at them from all directions were now being launched away, like they were a balloon popping around the pair. You think he's just spinning in circles?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm imagining. It's really fast. Oh, not too bad.
I don't give a damn about your kitties. It's just the mama cat I care about. Burncastle, Witch of Miracles. It's about time someone trimmed your claws.
Oh! Another flash of the black blade spun in a dark tornado, there you go, and scattered the cats once more. Leon, realizing this was the opening Will had planned, ran all out, still clutching at her heaving chest. Will, I'm running!
Diana has a weak stomach. Make sure you only give her milk that's warm.
Oh. Huh? Well, no. By the time Leon asked Will to repeat what he had said, he'd already leapt onto the stage and was now confronting Burncastle. Well, no! It was like the climax of a show. Loud cheers erupted from the pitch-black audience seating. On either side of Claire, who lay with her insides exposed, stood Will with his pitch-black sword and Burncastle with the side that could harvest miracles from fate.
Kyrie and Rudolph were culprits and they massacred the people on the island. They called Leon out to the parlor, then shot Leon to death. Sorry, but I can't acknowledge this truth of yours as mystery. This is all fantasy.
Fantasy? You're calling it that to try and let Leon escape fate? By all means, try.
Rule number 1, this is forbidden to have a crime without clues presented.
Is this a straight up truth battle? Surely Will's black sword must have cut through Burncastle's body. However, it had no effect, like cutting the reflection of the moon on the water. Shout out to moons! What's this? What do you mean by clues?
I won't accept your mystery with Kyrie and Rudolph as the culprits. You won't find clues showing that they're culprits no matter which game you look at.
Of course you won't. Even if they did exist at one point, the whole island blew up.
Which means there aren't any clues. And that means this is no mystery.
Yeah!
It's fantasy.
Yeah! Huh? It's impossible for an unprovable truth to become truth in the human world. In other words, even the actual truth cannot cross the boundary of a cat box. Are you trying to shut the truth inside the cat box? Is this how the mystery genre is supposed to fight? With a laugh like the howl of a wild animal, Burncastle carelessly tossed her side to side. We truth boys! Fighting itself is a waste of time. Get over here, scum. Try and cut me all you like. I'll listen to all you've got to say.
20 wedges will pierce every part of your heartless mystery. Here it comes.
And when you realize that you can't defeat me with those 20 wedges, you know what'll happen next, right? Come on, I'll play with you if that's what you want.
Wow, what an animation.
I know, that was pretty great. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
That's the first tea party. Oh my god, it's such a wild ride. And there's, like... This isn't a game board ending. Also, Execution is still playing, which I love. It's such a hype fucking track. But yeah, there is no, like... Rudolph died on the 5th Twilight, because that's not the game that this was at all.
It's not.
It wasn't a Witch's game board, right? Not in the same sense that we've seen.
I mean...
I don't know, do you think it's the truth? Do you think it's not the truth? How are you feeling?
I would believe that it is the truth.
Okay.
But we still have another tea party and another game to go.
I know we do, but we're being presented with this, so I figured I better poke you on it.
I cannot think for a reason for Ryukishi to show us this particular set of events if it is not valuable in some way for resolving what's left.
You think so?
And what little is left is the truth.
I was gonna say, what is left to resolve?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I was expecting episode 8 to be more the truth, but
It seems like we're getting to it early.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So, I mean, yeah, because I feel like there has been enough foreshadowing to justify that there were clues presented that this was the case.
We're not done? Oh shit, we're not even done.
We're not.
Oh yeah. Interesting, I thought this was gonna be in the other tea party. What the heck is the other tea party then? Oh, I know what it is. Forget I said anything. Let's keep going, I guess. Trying to ignore an incredible pain in the chest, Leon kept on running and running without stopping.
How long was the other tea party?
No comment. I dashed out of the theater-going witches and ran through an incomprehensible world of blackness. Before I knew it, I was running through a place that looked like a sea of stars. Or maybe the bottom of the ocean with stars scattered around.
That's the imagery I'm looking for.
If I get careless for a second, I'll probably trip. No, if I get careless, I won't be able to tell if I'm running. Or just making running motions as I freefall, endlessly sinking deeper into the ocean of stars.
Here it is.
I just kept on running without any goal or target. I mustn't stop moving. I mustn't fall down here. If I fall, I'll crush the hope of the me's in countless worlds. There's a happy world that the Beatrices dreamed of, and I'm their last hope, the only one who can reach that world. Even though I understand this, the truth, thrust in front of me by the witch who controls miracles, who says there can be no miracle, is cruelly gouging itself into my chest. Sorry, Will. My body's already... Then Leon finally succumbed to the fierce pain and fate, and fell over. Nah, fuck that. Resurrected replayer. Let's go. Leon's body was held roughly from behind and lifted up. Ah! But Will! You're okay!
No, not really. Don't give up. Didn't I tell you I'll piss your ass?
Sorry, I'm really sorry, but on that day in that place, I was fated to be killed.
That's right. All humans are fated to die in the end. Does that mean their lives are meaningless? Of course not. What a person's life means, what it's worth, what it is. These are things each person decides for themselves, no matter what sort of fate is forced upon them. Don't accept it. Create your own world for yourself.
Yeah. Let's go, boy. Will, your left arm.
Alright, must have forgotten it. Be a pain to go back and get it now.
There were rips all over Will's body. Also, his left arm had been brutally torn off from the elbow. His clothes were in tatters and he looked like a blood-stained scarecrow. Then, Leon noticed. Though this place had once felt like a sea filled with stars, both above and below them, those stars had now gathered together and were surrounding them. It was a huge, even number of stars, all glaring at the two of them. Will was holding Leon with one arm. He couldn't take his sword out. However, he didn't let go. He was determined to let Leon escape from here, to lead Leon towards the happy tale that the Beatrices had dreamed of. Behind the cats whose eyes glowed out of the empty darkness, the queen of cats who permitted no miracles appeared. Willard, put Leon down. If you do, I'll let you go.
Go file a protest with the Great Court. You can put it up for debate.
Will, I
won't leave you behind. I need to tell you why I quit SSVD.
Come to think of it, even I don't know that. Why'd you do it?
It's because I got fed up with all those damn sub-story mysteries. We'll survive and reach a happy ending. I'll show her. You just died in despair thinking that they were only bad endings. I'll show her that a happy ending can exist. That's why I never put you down.
Will. Ship.
What's this theme from?
This is, I believe, from Dream End Discharger. This bit.
You can take the rest of my left arm, cats. I'll give you my legs too if you want them. But I'm not letting go of Leon here. I'll take Leon away from the bad ending you represent, even if I have to crawl my way out of here.
Are you okay with this, Leon? Will's planning to die protecting you. You don't want that, right? Go ahead and tell him to leave you be and save himself. Will.
Yeah.
Please, don't leave me here. I'll certainly survive, and so will you.
That's the spirit.
As he said this, Will held Leon tight.
There you have it. We'll keep struggling on, Burncastle.
We won't give up on the chance of a miracle. You're saying that when the Witch of Miracles has promised with certainty that there will be no miracles. Oh, so long, you two. Go collect dust in the depths of oblivion, unable even to die and disappear. Come, my kitties, I won't order you to kill them. Just clean up the two pieces whose role has ended. 100 million, a trillion, 10 quadrillion cats all bared their fangs. In the starry sky of cat eyes, countless flesh-colored mouths opened, exposing countless teeth. The world was wrapped in flesh and blood and fangs.
Is that it? What's next? Where do we go from here?
It's a great question.
There it is.
That's the end of the tea party.
That's relieving.
Is it? Achievement unlocked. Rest in pieces. Oh, I get you. Whoever was responsible for that pun, I'll slap you.
So yeah.
There you go.
I have the faintest idea at what that was.
What was it?
You remember back in episode 5 I was talking about all of the ocean imagery and how I had the faintest idea of like what the trauma was that got Battler into this new personality that I claim exists?
Sure.
And this whole
you think this is
episode,
connected somehow?
this whole episode I've been saying that Will is there because Battler can't be because Battler's incompetent, and Will's been competent this whole time, amongst a myriad of reasons.
Maybe.
But it's like so fitting if I am right, and the trauma was that Battler nearly drowned trying to save Claire or whatever. It's like perfect that the two pieces that I think represent them in like an ideal world are the ones floating in the sea of stars as the Witch of Miracles tells them there's no chance.
Maybe.
Like, it was a theory that I was kind of like, when I was coming up with it, I was just like, I need to throw in something, and what we were reading at the time suggested that to me, so I came up with it. But now, as we've kept going, it's kind of like, as with a lot of theories, as I'm reading through it, I'm like, fuck, that actually makes a whole lot of sense if I read it this way. And I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, look at me,
Look how right I am, you guys are all dumb.
But like,
I am the great detective! Actually, hold on. I am the great detective! Oh god, I can't, I'm gonna have to press my...
that was alright, but like...
God.
It just fits. And it's like... so well done if that's the case.
Yeah. Rikushi's a mad genius. He hides answers in plain sight. This is what he does. I'm not going to confirm or deny anything, but maybe.
I'm so drained right now, but we still have
we
still have the question mark.
I know,
to get
we
to.
should... Jesus.
Next time.
Next time.